be talking about what it's like to work at Publix. I don't know if anyone here has ever or it currently works for Publix, but it's a very interesting experience. First of all, there's the layout of the management. So we have the customer service team leader, which is the first ranking management in the customer service department. And then we have the assistant customer service manager and the customer service manager, and that's everything for customer service. And we have the grocery team leader, the assistant grocery team, or the assistant grocery manager, the grocery manager, and that's everything for the grocery department. And we have the assistant store manager and the store manager. That's pretty much, there's more managers. There's like the produce management, bakery management, deli management, but those aren't really, they're not really that important.
They're not.
And then we have the roles of each manager. So the customer service team leader, they're in charge of the payroll, and then they are generally the ones who oversee all of customer service to make sure that everything's running smoothly. Like, you want to make sure that there's enough baggers for you to register, and you want to make sure that there's enough registers open to check all the groceries to make sure that the lines don't get too backed out. And then you have the assistant customer service manager. They occasionally make the schedule, but their main role is just to assist the customer service manager. Then you have the customer service manager, which is in charge. They actually are the ones who, they work with the store manager, and they're the ones who go over interviews. They're the ones who will interview you. Both stores anyway, like both the stores that I work at do that. They will make the schedule whenever the assistant customer service manager does not make the schedule. And then they generally have to oversee all the customer service to make sure that everyone else is doing the job correctly. Then we have the grocery team leader, which they pretty much are like the customer service team leader. They make everything easier for the for both of the managers in grocery. They just answer questions about like if someone gets hired or whatever and they don't know what they're doing yet, then they will answer all the questions about what they need to do and how to do it. And then occasionally they will also take care of payroll. They usually always take care of payroll. The assistant grocery manager makes the grocery schedule occasionally. They train new employees. And then the grocery manager, they actually work mostly with the store manager to oversee the whole store, because grocery managers usually are the ones that are next in line to become the store manager. So they work with the store manager most of the time. The assistant store manager, they just make the job easier for the store manager. They go to each department, make sure everything's running smoothly. And then the store manager, they oversee all of the management to make sure that each department is running smoothly because of their managers. And then, as an employee, you have to gain respect from the management, because you want to get good hours. It's down there on the last one. It says all this is to get good hours and make your job easier later. So you want to go above and beyond. You want to always, as much as you can, offer to stay late, offer to do extra work, do stuff that's not necessarily required of you, because it's that stuff that sets you apart as an employee, and they'll want to schedule you more. Speaking of money, because money's important, in case you didn't know that. And then you have to determine what it is exactly the manager wants from you, because it's always changing. Everyone wants something different. It's kind of like professors. They have their special way of wanting things, and you just kind of have to figure it out. And then obviously you want to give them what they want, because what's the point of figuring it out if you don't give them what they want? Don't ask questions. That's pretty important, because they like to be able to just delegate work to an employee and just not have to worry about it again. So they want to just tell you what to do, and then you be like, okay, and then you go and do it, and then they don't even have to worry about it again. So if you ask questions and they get nervous and then they have to keep it on their mind, like I don't know if it's going to be done or done right, so it's just easier that way. And then like I said, this is all to get more hours and do your job. The chain of priority, customers come before anything, because the most important thing for Publix, we pride ourselves on making sure that the customers are taken care of. Generally, this is actually an interesting little fact. If you guys ever want to try it, you probably would get it, but you're going to have to make a scene. But if you are about to check out or whatever, and you say something is buy one, get one, for example, and it's not, if you make a big enough deal about it, most of the time, they will probably just give it to you anyway, because we actually learned we're not supposed to tell the customer no. So generally, if you ever go through my line, I will do it every time, because I don't really care.
10-pound brisket.
Highland City Publix. Next in line is the store upkeep. You have to make sure that there's stuff called go backs, which is just stuff that customers didn't want, and it just piles up at the registers. You have to make sure it goes back to keep your register clean. And then like down the aisles and stuff, if like there's a spill or something, you want to keep it up because you don't want customers to trip and fall and die. Next is the management. They just pretty much make themselves the next most important thing because they think they know everything. I don't really care for them that much. And then there's me. You're at the bottom. If you can find a way to, which is what I do, find a way to get what you want without affecting those other three, you'll generally get it. And then there's appreciation. Okay. And there is personal experiences. I have a few personal experiences.
What?
One time, there was a customer, or no, an employee. They were working, and every so often you have to lay some stripper down on the floor to take out the wax that's already there. And,
Not that type of stripper they're doing.
and then lay down new wax. But they put down the stripper, and then makes me laugh.
Put her down, man.
Okay.
Still in 9th grade, somehow that happened. Okay.
So anyway,
Don't look at me.
she was in there, and she actually fell, and she landed on her back somehow, and she actually like broke either her hip or her back or something.
Oh my
And
God.
it was, they couldn't get her, like you can't move whenever you break that bone, so you're not supposed to like get up and move.
But
So she
wax
just laid
stripper
there.
has an acetone in it.
Yeah, so she just laid there for about 30 minutes until the paramedics could get there and they could help her out. But by the time they finally like lifted her up, she had like a layer of skin on her back that just peeled off whenever she picked her up.
Oh my God.
And then another story was the time that a kid fell into a wine display. That actually happened a couple weeks ago. That wasn't that long ago. This kid was roughhousing with his brother, and he pushed him, and he fell into the wine display, and like 4 or 5 bottles of wine fell over. And then he kind of like fell into it, and he like had cuts all over his arm. So that was kind of an interesting story because we had a lot of paperwork to do after that. And it's actually kind of ironic because the one particular what? Yeah, totally. He actually so he fell into the wine display, and it just so happens that that is the only spot in the entire store, about 4 feet, 4 feet by 4 feet. Square where it is a complete blind spot on the cameras, so we couldn't watch any of the game. So we just had to just go with what everybody saw. Another time was a kid was dropped on his head.
How old?
How was the kid?
16.
No. He was probably like 1 or 2. A couple came through the register. They were going to check out, and they were trying to mess with the kid. I don't know, they were trying to pick him up or something. And they just dropped him. And he fell head first, and then he actually was like wedged in between the cart and a candy rack, and so he was just laying there on his head. Like he was like, here's his head, and he was just laying like that. So that happened. A lot of people were that too. And then there was the time the fire alarm was pulled. That was actually really interesting. Actually, there's a lot of little water sprinklers on the roof. One of those broke, and it just started like spewing water, and that set off the alarm. And so that was actually the first time the alarm had gone off in like about 10 years at that store. This is my other store, not the one in-house. And so we all had to like get out of the building and everything because protocol. And then there was about 5 or 6 fire trucks that showed up and cleared it, and then we were all able to go back in. But it was nice because for about 45 minutes I got to sit and do nothing and still get paid. And that is everything.
All right.